Hello and welcome to Niche Snacks. Today we're going to do some edits on the John deck that I showed you guys in the last video. I've already taken some cards out of the deck that I think we can replace with other things, and let's go over them one by one. First card is Decree of Pain, 6 and 2 black, sorcery, destroy all creatures that can't be regenerated, draw a card for each creature destroyed this way, and it has cycling for 3 and 2 black. So we can pay that 3 and 2 black, discard this Decree of Pain, and when you cycle it, all creatures get -2/-2 till end of turn. It's a board wipe. The reason I'm pulling this one out is the main point of it was to pay the big cost of 6 and 2 black and destroy all creatures. I'm kind of looking for more of like an asymmetrical board wipe, something that probably won't kill John. Cycling it, giving everything -2/-2. I think there are better options at 5 mana for that, so I think that's why Decree of Pain can come out. Curse of the Swine, 6 and 2 blue, sorcery, exile X target creatures. For each creature exiled this way, its controller creates a 2/2 green board creature token. Same thing with Decree of Pain, basically. It's just an asymmetrical board wipe, something that can keep our John around and also like kill specific creatures and then also keep the creatures around that we donated. But again, for the mana cost, I think we can probably find something better. Giving our opponents 2/2s is still kind of bad for us. Just because John is a 3/3, but potentially will be a 2/2 if we have Heartless Summoning in play. Mystic Reflection. It's an instant for a colorless and a blue. Choose target non-legendary creature. The next time one or more creatures or planeswalkers enter the battlefield this turn, they enter as copies of the chosen creature, and we can foretell it. The reason I had this in here was kind of more of a gotcha. I was hoping my opponents were going to play an Avenger of Zendikar or something that makes, a buttload of tokens in one go. And then we would be able to Mystic Reflection and turn all of their tokens and creatures entering the battlefield into something bad for them, like Demonic Taskmaster, where they have to sacrifice another creature or something like that. The problem is a lot of the good creatures that I'd want to copy with Mystic Reflection are legendary, and this has us choose a non-legendary creature. There really hasn't, at least in my play group, honestly. This might be good in your play group. In mine, we've kind of gotten away from the big token producers and stuff that makes a bunch of tokens all in one go. So it's a good card. It can be good in very niche situations, but for this deck, in my play group, I don't think it's great. Next is Arcane Denial. It's 1 and a blue for an instant. You counter target spell. His controller may draw up to 2 cards at the beginning of the next turn's upkeep, and you draw a card at the beginning of the next turn's upkeep. So it's counter spell. It's a nice one. It kind of apologizes for countering your spell. Sorry, I countered your thing. Here's 2 cards. We also get a card, but there's just better counter spells. So we're going to replace it with a better counter spell. Next, we've got Kato Shizuki. It's a planeswalker for 1 a blue and a black. At the beginning of your end step, if Kato Suzuki entered the battlefield this turn, he phases out. You can +1 him and then discard a card unless you attack this turn. So we're probably looting with it. I don't think we're keeping a card. -2, you make a 1/1 blue ninja creature with this creature can't be blocked, which this is the main reason why the Kato is in the deck, because it makes 1/1 unblockable creatures that we can donate with John, and that's a guaranteed 3 damage coming in every turn. And then the -7, I don't even actually know what this does. -7, you get an emblem with whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, search your library for a blue or black creature card, put it into the battlefield, then shuffle. That's pretty cool, but we're not really attacking a lot. I don't imagine we're going to get to that emblem and have it be anything good for us if we ever get there, because we're going to be -2, so yeah, really not going for the ultimate on that card. But for a token producer, we have to play it out. -2, make a 1/1, +1, +1, -2. So like to be making the tokens, it's really slow. There's better options. Teferi's Ageless Insight. I know I talked about this one in the last video. It doubles up our card draws from John and from other sources, but not the first card we draw each turn, which it has potential to just be a 4-drop enchantment that does nothing. I don't really like cards like that very much, so I think we can find a better option for card draw than Teferi's Ageless Insight. Demonic Rising, also this card we talked about in the last video. The reason why I have it on the chopping block right now is because I went through and found some more creatures that we want to keep on our side of the board and not donate. So we might not be left with just John anymore. Animate Dead, it's an enchantment aura for 1 and a black. Basically, it reanimates something out of the graveyard and you attach Animate Dead to it. It's got a lot of text. It also gives the enchanted creature -1/-0. It's just not great for the deck. You know, it gives our opponents another option to get rid of the creature that we donate to them. If we reanimate it with Animate Dead and then donate it to somebody, if they just get rid of the enchantment, it gets rid of the creature, right? Oh no, it doesn't. The creature's controller sacrifices it, and if we donate it, it can't be sacrificed. That's actually better than I thought it was. Interesting. This might not get cut either. We can have a couple reanimate spells in the deck. Next up, we have Strionic Resonator. So you pay 2, tap it, copy target triggered ability you control. You can choose new targets for the copy. So this is meant to copy John triggers. I'm pretty sure I talked about this one in the last video too. But the reason it's on the chopping block is it just doesn't come up that often where we really want to dump 2 creatures and donate them on the same turn. That's kind of a late game thing, and by then we hopefully already have somebody loaded up with creatures. Next up, we have Lotus Petal. I'm pretty sure the only reason Lotus Petal is in this deck is because I had some sort of mana rock in here or something that I took out of John for another deck, and I just had a Lotus Petal on hand and threw it in there. Pretty sure I picked it up on like a F&M door prize or something like that. It doesn't really need to be in the deck. We can replace it with a 2-drop rock that's going to do the same thing. That's going to get us John out on turn 3, and that's really all we want. So there's better options. Steel Golem. This one came up in the other deck. There's 2 cards in the deck that do the exact same thing. So I kept the other one in there and I pulled out Steel Golem. The other one, I can't remember the name of the card. We'll have it up here in a sec. It costs 1 more mana to play, but it's also a 4/6 instead of a 3/4, and that's why I ended up keeping it. It's just a bigger creature for only 1 more mana. It's not a big deal. We can pay that extra mana. And it's a redundant effect. We don't need redundancy. Like 2 Steel Golem effects, we would have to donate them to separate people to really have like an impact on the game, more or less, because if we just donate the same effect to the same person, they can't play creature spells twice. Like, who cares? Whatever. Not a big deal. Thought Eater, which we also talked about in the last video, it reduces your max hand size by 3. It's just not a very impactful effect. I think that's pretty common thread through all of these cards that we're cutting, and any card that I cut really from a deck, is I just don't think it has that much of an impact on the game, and it's just not going to do much. It's going to be a 4/4 flyer that hits somebody and it reduces your max hand size by 3. Like, you could circumvent that with anything that gives you an unlimited max hand size, or, I mean, just having 4 cards in your hand. Like, it's not impossible that you're going to play out 3 things by the time you get this Thought Eater and just have 4 cards in your hand anyway, in which case it doesn't do that much. So it's getting cut. Plague Crafter. Enters the battlefield, each player sacrifices a creature or planeswalker. Each player who can't discards a card. It's basically a Fleshbag Marauder with more text on it that does a little bit more things just in case they don't have a creature in play. And it also has 1 more toughness, so it doesn't die if we have like Heartless Summoning in play or something like that. But again, impact, is it really huge? I don't know. Fleshbag Marauders are pretty good, especially if you can, replay them over and over again to get rid of creatures. We don't really have any kind of effect like that, so it's a good card, but again, I don't think it quite fits what we're doing, so we can find something cooler to put in that slot. Nascent Metamorph, it again is one of those cards that just doesn't have a lot of impact, or it's a lot of hit and miss, and more times than not it's going to miss than it's going to hit. We can do some cool things with Nascent Metamorph, but it is just going to turn into a Llanowar Elves or a Birds of Paradise or some other small utility creature more times than it's going to turn into something crazy like, I don't know, what's a cool dragon? Really big cool dragon or some shit. You know what I'm saying? One of the Elder Dragons from the D&D set. Could be one of those, but usually it's just not. Endrick Sar, Master Breeder. He's mostly around to make those 1/1 black thrall creature tokens. He can only make a limited amount too. We can't have more than 7. Yeah, we can't have more than 7 thralls out. So he's gonna sacrifice himself more times than not because we're gonna be playing things and people probably won't attack us because they know if we play more things, we'll have to get rid of the Endrick, and we don't really want to do that. Disciple Bolus. When he enters the battlefield, you sack another creature, you gain life and draw X cards, where X is that creature's power. He's there to get rid of creatures if we don't have John in play and we get stuck with something gross, and he can gain us some life and draw some cards. I just feel like there's better options. And Demonic Taskmaster. 4/3 flyer, beginning of your upkeep, you sack a creature other than Demonic Taskmaster. Giving this to an opponent and having them sack 1 creature a turn is not super impactful, but it is a 6/5 flyer when we give it away. there might be something better that we can put in that slot. Those are all the cards that are on the chopping block. Not necessarily all of them are going to get cut. Here's our pile of stuff that I've been thinking about putting in. First two cards that I definitely want to put in the deck are 2 basic lands. When I went through the deck before, I realized I was only at 32 lands. That's pretty low. Now, our curve in this deck is pretty low, considering a lot of the creatures that we're going to play have a lower mana cost, but I pretty much always have mana problems when I play John for one reason or another. So adding 2 more lands into the deck, I think, is pretty much like a must. So we need to get off 32 lands and back up to 34. Not really sure how we got down to 32 to begin with. Probably me pulling stuff out, not really paying attention. Notion Thief. So John is kind of like secretly a stacks deck. You kind of only stacks out one player instead of everybody, but it is a stacks deck. Notion Thief kind of goes along that same lines of it being a stacks deck, preventing your opponents from drawing cards, and then we get to draw them instead. Yeah, we like that. Only problem that I have with Notion Thief right now is it's got 1 butt, and 1 butt with Heartless Summoning is bad news. Opposition Agent, kind of the same thing with Notion Thief, just kind of fitting more into that stacks deck style of something. I'm not sure how I really feel about Opposition Agent in a regular game of Commander. It does seem like a really feels bad card, especially if somebody's trying to fetch and you're like, oh, not only do you not get your land, but I get it now. It's very rude, but John is also very rude, so it kind of fits. I'm not sure if I'll put it in. It might be too rude. And that is one thing I am trying not to do, is to be too rude with John. Painful Quandary. It's an enchantment for 3 and 2 black. Whenever an opponent casts a spell, they lose 5 life unless they discard a card. Also kind of stacksy. We get into the late game, we can get our opponents down to a few permanents left, or, not have much of a board presence. And they have to start casting spells, but they've only got 20 or less life. This is going to be huge in those scenarios. Ruthless Winnower is another way to kind of control the board. It's a 3 and 2 black. It's a 4/4 elf rogue, and it says at the beginning of each player's upkeep, that player sacrifices a non-elf creature. John is an elf. He's an elf wizard. We want to keep him on our side. I mean, I guess we could even potentially donate it out, because it doesn't matter who controls Ruthless Winnower. It's in each player's upkeep that player sacrifices a non-elf creature. So it doesn't matter even if we keep it or send it out to somebody else, where everybody's going to be sacrificing non-elf creatures. And as I'm sure you remember from the last video, everything we donate with John can't be sacrificed. Pestilence. This is kind of a replacement for a board wipe. It's an enchantment, 2 and 2 black. At the beginning of any turn, if there's no creatures in play, you sacrifice Pestilence, and you can pay a black, and Pestilence deals 1 damage to each creature in each player. So late game, potentially dumping a bunch of black mana into Pestilence can win us the game if somebody's at a lower life than us, or if we've donated out an Abyssal Persecutor. The other thing to keep in mind is we don't want to kill off John until we're ready to, I guess. But we want to keep that Pestilence damage down to like 2 or less, so it'll help us clear out a bunch of 1/1 tokens or something like that. Deadly Tempest, kind of on that same vein of dealing with large boards of tokens or something like that. It destroys all creatures, and each player loses life equal to the number of creatures they controlled that were destroyed this way. We likely will not have a lot of creatures, just John and maybe a couple other things now. So this can be really good, especially if someone's got a lot of creatures. Late game, low life, we can just kill them off with Deadly Tempest. It's Bloodgift Demon. It's a 5/4 flying demon for 3, 2 black. It says at the beginning of your upkeep, target player draws a card and loses a life. It's a Phyrexian Arena on a creature for 1 more mana, essentially. The only thing that kind of sucks is it's a 5/4. I kind of wish it was a 4/5 so it could block a little better, but that's okay. I'm not going to really look to gift demon in the mouth, you know what I'm saying? Give me that card, boy. And hey, if our opponents are at a really low life, we could potentially kill them with Bloodgift Demon. I've done it before. It does not happen very often. I've done it once in, I don't know, fucking 20 years of playing Magic, so yeah. Death Tyrant, 4/6 for 4 and a black with Menace. It's a Beholder Skeleton. Negative Energy Cone is the one that we are putting it in the deck for, or why I wanted to put it in the deck. Whenever attacking creature you control, doesn't matter, or a blocking creature your opponent controls dies, you make a 2/2 black zombie creature token. It's just a repeatable token creating card. Also, don't forget to, whoever creates a token owns that token. So if we donate the token with John and we created that token from our own effect, we'll still draw the card when they attack with the token. Next up, we have Narset's Reversal. It's 2 blue mana for an instant. You copy target instant or sorcery spell, then return it to its owner's hand. You can choose new targets for the copy. It's essentially a way to double up on counter spells, or pretty much any other cool instant or sorcery our opponents are playing. If someone has a big Sphinx's Rev, we can copy it with the Narset's Reversal, send it back to their hand, so they just wasted all their mana, and then we get to gain a bunch of life and draw cards. To really get the full potential out of a Narset's Reversal, we have to be casting a lot of instants and sorceries, and we don't have a ton that are super impactful. So yeah, mostly our impactful ones are going to be like board wipes, and copying a board wipe isn't going to do jack shit unless somebody counters it or makes their stuff indestructible, and we can put another board wipe in on the stack on top of their heroic intervention or something like that, or hell, even copy their heroic intervention with the Narset's Reversal. Ledger Shredder, 1 and a blue. It's a 1/3 flying bird advisor. Whenever a player casts their second spell each turn, Ledger Shredder connives. And conniving is you draw a card and you discard a card, and if you discard a non-land card, he gets a +1/+1 counter. I think I'll have to look up connive. It's kind of a newer keyword that I don't really remember exactly what it says, but I know it lets us draw cards, and that's why it's there. Just more repeatable card draw. We need more gas, I think, is the big problem I'm having with John, I think, right now, is we just typically don't draw enough cards. More card draw, more stuff in our hands, more things to react with, more gas, more game actions to do, and usually the person who wins is the one who took the most game actions. So more cards equals more likely chance to win. Gisa, Glorious Resurrector. It's a 4/4 for 2 and a blue. Legendary creature, human wizard. If a creature an opponent controls would die, exile it instead. At the beginning of your upkeep, put all creature cards exiled with Gisa, Glorious Resurrector into the battlefield under your control. They gain Decayed. We're going to steal all of our creatures that our opponents control when they die, and then reanimate them on our side. That includes the creatures that we've donated. So it's kind of a way to get a secondary use out of something that we've already given away. So they do have to attack. So the creatures, they gain Decayed when you reanimate them with Gisa. So they have to attack, and then they get sacrificed at the end of combat. Sacrificed at the end of combat, which they don't because of John. Illusionist Gambit. 2 and 2 blue. It's an instant. Cast a spell only during the Declare Blocker step on an opponent's turn. You remove all attacking creatures from combat and untap them. After this phase, there's an additional combat phase. Each of those creatures attacks that combat if able. They can't attack you or planeswalkers you control that combat. A couple of things. This will save us if someone's attacking us for a lot of damage and swinging at another opponent maybe. We can use the Illusionist Gambit to basically force them to go back into their Declare Attacker step and have them attack somebody else entirely. What this also does is it untaps all attacking creatures, so that means those creatures have already attacked. So if we've donated 2 or 3 things to a player, they swing in with those, we're going to draw 3 cards off of John, and then we can Illusionist Gambit, make them untap those creatures that they just attacked with, and then attack with them again, so that we can get to draw 3 more creatures with John. And we force them to not attack us. So even if we're the only player left, they can swing in at us, we can untap all their creatures, make them go to another combat where they can't attack us with anything. So they just kind of have to pass or go into their second main, something like that. Mana Drain. It's 2 blue, it's an instant. Counter target spell. At the beginning of your next main phase, add an amount of colorless mana equal to that spell's converted mana cost. So it can ramp us, it counters a spell. It's just a better counter spell than the one that we're taking out. Fierce Guardianship. 2 and a blue, instant. If you control a commander, you may cast this spell without paying its mana cost, and you counter target non-creature spell. So again, just kind of a better counter spell. It'll be free for us most of the time, because we're almost always going to have John out. Our game plan is to play John and then donate creatures. So we pretty much always have to have John out. And pretty much the only way John is going to die is by somebody casting a non-creature spell and him dying to it. So having Fierce Guardianship to counter that spell, good stuff. Imprisoned in the Moon. It's an enchantment aura for 2 and a blue. Enchant creature, land, or planeswalker. Enchanted permanent is a colorless land with tap, add a colorless mana, and lose all other card types and abilities. The real good thing with Imprisoned in the Moon is you can hit someone's commander with it, right? So if someone has a really difficult to deal with commander, we can slap an Imprisoned in the Moon on it, and now it's just a land. And they can either get rid of the enchantment to get their commander back, or try to destroy a land somehow, potentially, like strip mine it or something like that. but it makes it a lot harder to interact with, especially since most people in general don't run any sort of land destruction. It's kind of, that faux pas of EDH is to destroy someone's lands. Witness protection, exactly the same reason why Imprisoned in the Moon is in the deck. You slap it on a commander, it becomes a 1/1 legitimate business person, which is probably the funniest thing they've printed on a real Magic card in a long time. Crippling Fear. It's a sorcery for 2 and 2 black. Choose a creature type. Creatures that aren't the chosen type get -3/-3 till end of turn. So it's a way to keep our John around, because we can choose elf or wizard. And then creatures that aren't of the chosen type are going to get -3/-3. That'll kill most things. It's not going to kill any huge threats, but it'll wipe out hordes of tokens and stuff like that, and that's really what we're looking for. We're not typically going to lose to like 1 or 2 big things, but a swarm of small things, that's where we're going to eat a lot of damage. I would like to point out that this next card is a proxy, and that was only because I couldn't actually find one of these to buy anywhere for some reason. I don't know why. Magus of the Mirror. 4 and 2 black, it's a 2/4 human wizard. You can tap it, sacrifice it, and exchange life totals with target opponent. Activate only during your upkeep. Reason for Magus of the Moon, late game, we get down to 1 person and us. They've got an Abyssal Persecutor in play because we donated it to them. They've got us down below 1 health in the negatives. We can just swap life totals with them with Magus of the Mirror, and then we win, because now they're at a negative life total. Primaris Eliminator. 4 and a black, it's a 3/2 creature, Astarte's Warrior. When Primaris Eliminator enters the battlefield, you choose one. You can destroy a target creature, or creatures target player controls get -2/-2 till end of turn. This is what I was thinking of replacing the Decree of Pain with. Same amount of mana to cycle it as it is to cast the Primaris. It's a 3/2 creature. It's a creature, so it can be cheaper with Heartless Summoning and not die to Heartless Summoning. It's something we can donate with John, because it doesn't really have any effect other than its ETB. Oh, not really, it just doesn't. It doesn't have any other effect other than its ETB. So once it's in play, it's basically a 3/2 vanilla creature that we can donate to somebody and have it become a 5/4 that they have to attack with. Jadar, Ghoul Caller of Nephalia. It's a 1/1 legendary creature human wizard. At the beginning of your end step, if you control no creatures with Decayed, you create a 2/2 black zombie creature token with Decayed. This is kind of what I was thinking of replacing the Demonic Rising with. It makes a creature at every end step. We don't have to have only John in play. We can have any number of creatures in play as long as they don't have Decayed, and he's still going to make that 2/2, which we can then donate with John. It does have Decayed, so when it attacks, it's going to get sacrificed, but it can't be sacrificed because of John, and then we're going to draw a card. So it's just a constant token producer that we can make a token, donate it, make a token, donate it every single turn. So we'll always have more creatures to donate every turn, and they don't have to come from our hand. And last but not least, we've got Thought Vessel. Thought Vessel, it's a 2-drop mana rock. You have no max hand size, and it taps to add a colorless mana to your mana pool. So that's probably what we'll replace the Lotus Petal with, is the Thought Vessel. All right, now let's figure out what we really want to get rid of here. How many cards do we have pulled out? I think we're going to keep the Animate Dead. I didn't actually read the whole card, and I didn't realize that when the Animate Dead goes away, it's a sacrifice trigger. That actually might stay in the deck, because getting rid of the Animate Dead isn't going to help anybody. 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 cards for sure coming out. For sure we're putting in 2 lands, so that's really 10 cards we have to replace. These are definitely going in, so I'm just going to sleeve them up right now. I want the 2 lands for sure. I think for sure the Thought Vessel is going in, because we're replacing a mana rock with a mana rock. Now the rest is kind of up in the air. So we have 9 slots available for sure. This stuff is kind of a maybe. I'm pretty sure I'm going to keep Animate Dead in the deck. I really like the idea of Magus of the Mirror being that late game life total switching thing. Like, I don't know, who switches life totals? I mean, honestly, come on, it's ridiculous. Fierce Guardianship and Mana Drain, having a couple more counter spells. I think Illusionist Gambit is actually going to be really good, and same thing with Gisa is going to be really good. That, like, nobody can sacrifice things with Decayed is a lot better than I was thinking it was at the beginning. I really like Ruthless Knower. Notion Thief and Opposition Agent just seems so rude. Is that how rude we want to be? Do we want to be that rude? I guess we can try it. 5, 6, 7, 8. We've got 1 slot left. I think Jadar for sure needs to go in the deck. I really like that card. It's kind of between these 4 of Painful Quandary, Pestilence, Deadly Tempest, and Bloodgift Demon. Maybe Primaris Eliminator. That's also a pretty good card. No, fuck. These are all good cards. What am I saying? Witness Protection, Imprison in the Moon are excellent. Removal, especially for a commander. I mean, I've been hit with an Imprison in the Moon that hit my commander in a very commander-centric deck, and I just got fucked for the whole game. So I think we should find places for those. And one thing we want to be careful of too is we want to make sure that we replace the creatures with creatures at the very least. We want to have a higher creature count in this deck because we need the things to sacrifice, donate, all that shit. If we don't run the Notion Thief and the Oppo Agent, we can put in other creatures like Bloodgift Demon and the Primaris Eliminator. Okay, I think what we're gonna do, I'm gonna keep Curse of the Swine in the deck. Reason being, I don't even remember the last time I drew Curse of the Swine, so I don't know that it's not a good card. Well, I mean, I know for a fact that it is a good card, but I don't know how good it is in this deck. I think Demonic Rising is still going to be relevant for us. I'm okay cutting the Demonic Taskmaster and the Disciple of Bolus as long as we're replacing them with creatures. So let's cut that and that for now. So we've got 11 slots to work with. I think we're going to keep these in the deck. I don't know. I'm really waffling on Demonic Rising just because of that extra stuff that we're adding in. But again, I think it also kind of comes down to a Curse of the Swine thing, where I don't know that I've actually played Demonic Rising in a game yet, so I haven't been able to really see how good it is. Maybe we'll set up a Goldfish or something with Demonic Rising already in our hand and see how that works. We got 11 slots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Oh, we only got one more cut. Interesting. So these are for sure. We want to put these in. Our Ruthless Winnower, Gisa, that stuff. This is kind of more where we're at. We need to cut one thing out of here potentially, or maybe cut the Oppo Agent and the Notion Thief and put something else in. I think we can eliminate Ledger Shredder, Aetherize from our pool of cards. Same with Narset's Reversal. I think they just, again, don't have quite the impact that we want to have on the game. Painful Quandary is really disgusting when it's really disgusting. Sometimes it doesn't really matter. Like if our opponent has a lot of life or something like that, paying the 5 life to draw, or not draw a card, but paying the 5 life to cast their spell or discard a card isn't really that big of a hindrance to them. So it could be good maybe if we were mixing it with something like a discard deck or something like that. But I think for this, the Painful Quandary just isn't quite what we want. The Death Tyrant for us is only going to make tokens when our blocking or creatures and opponent controls block and die. And if there's one thing I've learned about playing this deck, it's that our opponents do not do the things that we want them to do. So they will do everything they can to block in a way that does not net us anything if they're smart. If we have dumb opponents, they'll make us lots of tokens. But let's assume our opponents are smart people and not big stupid dum-dums who give John deck more fuel. Yeah, I just don't think this does enough. It does have Menace. We don't want to donate it because then it's going to make zombies for the person we donate it to, potentially. Yeah, no. I think it's just not quite there. So now we're left with 3 sweepers. Do we want any more sweepers? What do we already have? We got the Curse of Swine. We took out 2 sweepers. Did we? No, we only took out 1 because we left Curse of Swine in the deck. So we still have a sweeper. We've got the Primaris Eliminator, which is a potential sweeper as well. I think we're going to drop Crippling Fear because it doesn't do anything but kill creatures. The Pestilence and the Deadly Tempest are going to deal damage to an opponent. And the Primaris Eliminator has a little bit of flexibility in what we do with it, because it can either kill 1 target creature or we give everything -2/-2. Oh, it is creatures target player controls, -2/-2, so it's not the whole board. Interesting. Really quick, I'm going to count how many creatures we took out of the deck, because I believe there was 27 in there before. We took out 7. We took out 7 creatures, and we are planning to put back, we're only putting back 6 creatures. I think I'm not going to put in Opposition Agent or Notion Thief purely based on the fact that they are just too mean, and that's not the kind of mean I want to be. if that makes sense. It's a personal choice. We're left with Pestilence and Deadly Tempest. Do we like Curse of Swine over Deadly Tempest and Pestilence? I think so. So the Curse of Swine is targeted, so we for sure know what we're hitting with it. The Pestilence is going to make it tough for us to keep 1/1s around. Or 2/2s for that matter. I'm going to cut the Deadly Tempest. I think Pestilence overall will do more for us. We can use it to pink our opponents for 1 or 2 if we have John out and leave the Pestilence around for sure. Because the Pestilence only goes away when there are no creatures in play, so we just can't wipe the entire board with it. Or if we do, we have to be in a position where we can, wipe the whole board with it and then win somehow. This is our replacements. Yeah. Oh, fuck. I didn't count my cards right. Shit. Fierce Guardianship. We gotta find room for Magus of them here, for sure. That card is hilarious. Sucks that we have to do it only during our upkeep, but, people are gonna see it coming, I guess, when it comes down. It'll be even more fun when they have to look at it and realize there's nothing they can do about it except die. I'm gonna drop Animate Dead purely because it's a card I've seen so much. I think a lot of people play Animate Dead, which doesn't make it bad, but I like playing with things that I don't see a lot of people play with, and I've never seen anybody else play a Magus of the Mirror, so let's keep Magus of the Mirror around. And those are our cuts. It's a bunch of fatties and some land. Yep, we have a path to a turn 4 John, which is nothing with the hand that we have. I would not keep this. 4 lands, a 4, 6, and 7 drop with John, and that's it. No ramp. Okay, yeah, no, we're not going to keep that. I'm just going to shovel that shit on the bottom and try again. If we get another land, this is potential. It's a Lonely Sandbar. Well, we've got our 2 lands in the Sky Diamond for some ramp. Nothing to play off of that. We'll have 3 draws, potentially, to get another land. Could cast John if we get that 4th mana. Man, I wish we had 1 more mana and minus 1 of these creatures. Screw it, it's a goldfish. We'll see what happens, right? Turn 1. Ooh, Demonic Rising. So we're going to play this Lonely Sandbar tapped. Oh. So we'll play our land. So potentially what we can do is play the Sky Diamond, or we can Demonic Tutor and guarantee get us another mana. I think I would rather have the mana potential just in case. So we'll turn 2 ramp with Sky Diamond. Turn 3. Fuck, we didn't get that mana. That's okay. Our only play really is to Demonic Tutor for something. I actually almost think we should Demonic Tutor for a Heartless Summoning and hope that nobody really fucks with us, considering we don't have any mana. But if our opponents see us Demonic Tutor and then miss a land drop, they know some horse shit's on the way, right? Because we didn't Demonic Tutor for a land. I am gonna Demonic Tutor, and we are gonna go grab Heartless Summoning. That there. This goes into our hand, and we'll deal with that next turn. Untap. Draw a land. Oh my lord, look at that. Alright, so we got a swamp. We're going to cast a Heartless Summoning, and then we're going to cast John. Now we got a game. So we'll untap, draw for our 5th turn. Yeah, we don't have another land drop, so we've missed 2. That sucks. But we have Heartless Summoning in play, and we can definitely cast some of these creatures. We can't cast the Demonic Rising. That part sucks. We can cast this Evil Eye. I think we can cast literally any creature in our hand. I think we cast the biggest thing we can, which is this Asmodeus, the Archfiend. And then we definitely give it away on our end step. Give it to somebody. Now it's an 8/8. So that's going to be really tough for someone to deal with. A turn 5 8/8. It's crashing in somewhere. People probably are going to have a blocker for it by now, but the important part is that it attacks and we draw a card off of it attacking. And we'll untap for our turn, draw a card for our turn. We still didn't get another land. That's okay though. So now we're in a position where we can cast multiple things on a turn because of Heartless Summoning. We don't have any interaction to leave up. So the only thing that sucks is all of our creatures are black. Well, I guess except for Eon Frolicker, that one is too blue. We're not really in a good position to cast Eon Frolicker right now either. We want to wait until we have a little bit more on the board for our opponents to, have to attack with again on their other turn. We're a little tied up on mana. That's the big problem. So what I'm thinking is I wanted to play the Bloodgift Demon. We're going to have 1 mana left over, but it's guaranteed going to be a blue mana because we have to use our 2 black to cast the Bloodgift Demon if we want to. So I wanted to have 1 mana left up to cast the Phyrexian Negator or the Ebon Drake, but that's just not going to happen. What we could do is Curse of Swine 1 creature if we had 1 problem creature right now, which I don't know why we would potentially. I mean, it is turn 6, so there could totally be a problem creature out there that we need to deal with. So I guess let's pretend that's how this game is going. So we have a problem creature. We're going to exile it with the Curse of the Swine. And then for 1 black mana, because of Heartless Summoning, we're going to cast this Phyrexian Negator. And then on our end step, we're going to donate the Phyrexian Negator, probably to whoever has Asmodeus. And then they will untap, they will attack on their turn. We are going to draw Dose cards. There we go, that's some mana. And then we're going to untap for our turn, draw for our turn, another land. So we're going to play that Swamp. Now we are in a position to play the Demonic Rising. We have the 5 mana, we can make a token, donate it, all in the same turn, probably to whoever this is. We're in a really good position until we get fucked with. So this is kind of where we want to set up to get to for a Goldfish. Like, we just got our draw engine here. We managed to get our lands and mana out. We're not really in a bad position. Gameplay from this point on kind of depends on what the rest of the board looks like, right? We've got 3 opponents. We know we have 2 donated creatures. Our best bet is to just donate more creatures, right? So if we have a problem creature, we can knock it out with the Noxious Gearhulk, and then even play the Ebon Drake after that too, because the Noxious Gearhulk's only going to cost us 4 mana, and we can have a black left over to play the Ebon Drake and then donate it. And then that'll set us up good for an Eon Frolicker turn. Like I said, we can also play the Demonic Rising and make a 5/5 and donate it. And then the next turn, cast like the Gearhulk and the Ebon Drake or something like that. And then leave up the Noxious Gearhulk as a blocker. It'll make our Demonic Rising not do as much. We can also cast the Bloodgift Demon to draw some extra cards. And then also have the Ebon Drake left over. I mean, we can even cast the Bloodgift Demon and the Eon Frolicker in the same turn, just to have more creatures out. Or the Bloodgift Demon and nope, we can't cast the Evil Eye. That costs too much mana. We need 1 more. So this turn, let's go 4 mana for the Noxious Gearhulk to kill off something, and then use that 1 floating, or the 1 black mana that's left to cast the Ebon Drake. And then we'll donate the Ebon Drake. These will untap. These will all attack at some point. And again, this is also, Goldfish, Magic, Christmas Land, where nobody is messing with our stuff. Right? So we're going to draw 3 cards off that, and then we'll untap for our turn. We will draw a card for our turn. Ooh, there's some Magus of the Mirror. That's for later. We will play a land for our turn, which I think will be another black mana, because we have a lot of black cards in our hand. We can also cast this Mind Stone. Potentially, we can get rid of that Mind Stone as well. If we don't need it later, we can get a card draw off of it. Yeah, I mean, I think this is already a pretty good example of what the deck is supposed to do. Just donate bullshit creatures out. Hopefully, the person we gave this Asmodeus to in the beginning doesn't have access to black mana. So as soon as they get that Asmodeus, they can no longer draw cards. All right, I think that's going to be it for this video. So like always, please rate, review, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And the most important thing that I would ask, if you really like this video and you enjoy what I'm doing and what I'm saying, just share it with a friend. Send it to somebody. Make them watch it. Hold their eyes open. With your fingers or with something mechanical. It doesn't really matter. Hold their eyes open and make them watch. You guys have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.